Awesome. Well, welcome to Humanize versus Digitize. A little bit of housekeeping notes to start off with. So first of all, please turn on your video so we can see your beautiful faces. Please mute your mics. We're going to be in a large group, so there'll be plenty of opportunities later to have a two-way discussion later on in the hour. The session is being recorded, so you'll be sent a link to our CX Solutions Facebook group, where you'll have access to that recording. Also, the chat is being monitored by Noah, our customer experience strategist. So any questions that do come up, please send your questions through and we'll get to them at the end of the session. Also, we'd love to hear from you on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So tell us your takeaways from today's session and what you'd like to see more of. As a customer experience design firm, the voice of the customer feedback is always appreciated. So let's dive in. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Scott Johnson. I am a customer experience design engineer with the Inside View. I recently joined after being in the hospitality industry for 20 plus years, 13 of that being in sales. I joined Crystal's team because we're like-minded in our passion about engineering the customer experience. And we're gonna have lots of jam-packed, there's gonna be a jam-packed hour for you, so make sure you take lots of notes and that we can reference what you've learned. So now I'd like to introduce you to Crystal DeCuna. Crystal is a well-respected customer experience expert. She's a successful entrepreneur after starting the Inside View after 5 years, and she is an awesome boss, mentor, and friend.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Thanks so much. I'm super excited to be here with all of you today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know there's a lot of webinars going on. There's lots of things that require your time, so I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being with us today. And we've got a jam-packed hour for you. So we are going to start off by really diving into a couple of core tips to be able to share how to humanize this digital experience that we're all kind of living in now. But then at the end of the session, or near the end, we're also going to give you an opportunity to connect and collaborate with each other, because we've got some people on here from a variety of industries, which is really great because you'll all get to kind of see how regardless of the industry that you're in, how customer experience relates to that humanizing process. When we're all trying to be in a more digital world, how can we still make sure that we're maintaining that kind of human touch and human connection? So without further ado, we'll dive right in. Scott, am I missing any housekeeping? I think we got everything.
I think so, yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so, the key to humanizing a customer experience is really authenticity. Those of you that know me well, I know there's some really familiar faces on here. Thank you all for joining. Those of you that know me well know that, when it comes to customer experience, it's all about being very open, very vulnerable, and very authentic. And so, as we move into this new digital world, we're trying to build long-term relationships with customers, and it means appealing to their emotions. The way we can really appeal to people's emotions is to kind of connect with their heartstrings, right? And so today, as we kind of dive through, I want to share a couple of tips with you. And number one is we want to be able to keep the customer at the core of everything we do, right? And so if you think of the new digital experience, there's so many ways that we're approaching our customers, whether it's through social media, whether it's through our websites, whether it's through email marketing. I mean, it's a real omni-channel approach to how we're connecting with our customers. But, when I was growing up, I worked for a company called Danier Leather. Some of you might have some leather jackets. Hands up if you've got a Danier Leather jacket out there. I see a couple of hands up. And so, I was able to work for this phenomenal company that really focused on keeping the customer at the core of everything that they did. And so I remember my first day, I was 16 years old, and I was working, and part of their training was to say, Crystal, in everything you do, I want you to think of the customer's point of view. And I'll never remember it. I'm still in touch with my manager who told me that at 16. And, you know, purchasing a leather jacket was such a tactile experience. You're putting on this leather, you're feeling it. It was a very human connection. And, you know, then there was that transition to the online world. How do people buy leather jackets online, right? When, you know, you put on a leather jacket and you transform, you walk a little taller, your head's a little higher, you feel a little tougher. Anybody feel that? Or is it just me? Anybody else feel that when they put on the leather jacket, right? So there's that emotional connection that that's happening with the product, or in many cases it's a service. But that emotional connection on understanding that, you know, in everything that we're doing, being able to keep the customer at heart was really transformative for me as I grew my career, because I understood then that it was so much more than just putting on a leather jacket. It was about building confidence and keeping that customer at the heart of everything I was doing. So by creating, you know, this understanding that we want to be able to make sure that we're integrating that human experience into the digital experience is kind of the first start. Is we've all pivoted and we've all transformed. Hands up if you've had to go more online now than ever before. Anybody, right? We're all going a lot more online. We are purchasing online. We are, I mean, we're doing everything on the phone or online. And so because of that, we want to be able to understand that that online experience is very challenging to create a human connection online. Would you agree? Hands up if you'd agree, right? Super challenging, because sometimes you're chatting with bots, or you're communicating via email, and we all know that, you know, 55% of the communication happens when we're able to see each other with body language or tone of voice, and our verbal communication, when especially on emails as well as text messages and so on. Emails are like 7%. Those words that we're saying are 7% of the communication. It's how we're finessing the words and how we're able to incorporate our personality and our energy into the words that strengthens the communication. So when you're communicating with your customer, understand this, understand that you have to be able to put yourself in their shoes. So one of the funniest things I've been getting during our craziness of the pandemic is that, you know, I'm a little behind on my slideshow here, sorry. During the craziness of the pandemic is that, you know, a customer will say, well, that I'll finally get through on the phone, and I'll if I'm calling for a service issue, I'll finally get through on the phone, and then they'll say, well, that information is on our website. Did you happen to take a look? Has anybody else had that happen? Right? The information's on our website, and I'm thinking, I've already been on the website. I've already been on the website, I've seen it, and I still haven't been able to find what I'm looking for. And so there was a great study out by Deloitte that said, you know, 60% of companies that are able to kind of connect that customer centricity, that connection where if somebody's calling you and picking up the phone, then they need help. And so they said 60% of companies that are able to integrate that digital experience with that human experience so that there is a phone call you can call, increase their profitability by up to 23%. So it's a huge impact that you're making on businesses if you're able to connect that digital experience to that human voice on the other side of that phone. And I also think a lot about, when I think about this, is, you know, there's a lot of organizations out there that really don't want to talk on the phone. Would you agree? Right? There's finding a phone number is near impossible, if impossible. I know Noah, our customer experience strategist, and I have been working with a couple of different back-end programs, and you know, it's sometimes taking us a week or 2 weeks to actually get the answer to things because there's no phone number and there's no direct mail contact. And so, yes, we're in the midst of a pandemic. Yes, people, we need to be more understanding as a consumer, but our expectations are still high. When you've got companies like Amazon that can answer you in a minute, then that's created a new level of expectation. So understanding from the customer's point of view how you would like to be able to receive the answers or the solutions or or make the purchase is really the number one key. Okay, so also to that, I wanted to add, you know, when you're understanding your customer and you're putting yourself in the customer's point of view, one of the keys is to make sure that you're creating a customer experience strategy around that. So for those of you that have a customer experience strategy, fantastic. And for those of you that don't, often people think they do have a customer experience strategy, but it's not really, at the core of what they're doing. It's really important to put that strategy on paper. So we can definitely help with that, but put that experience on paper and really identify what are those moments of truth. So number 2 in humanizing the digital experience is connecting through story. Listen, every brand has a story. Yet so often we assume that customers just know their story. Like, we don't all know the back end of, how Disney was, how Disney came to be. I recently, without getting too political, Joe Biden, I knew a little bit about Joe Biden's story. I knew that he had lost a son through cancer. But recently I was able to really learn that, he actually lost a wife and a young daughter at a really early age. That was the power of story, right? In order to understand him more and understand and connect him with his brand, I was able to learn a little bit more because I was told by way of story a little bit more about him. And so, I thought I knew who the candidate was, but understanding that on a deeper level, on a more emotionally connected level, that's really what starts to connect with people's heartstrings. And so how you communicate your brand story to customers is how you're going to be able to get ahead of customers' expectations. One of our people actually on our webinar here, Moya Shea Products, I'm going to put a plug out to Moya. She's been phenomenal at being able to post, her story. But what she does is on her actually Instagram story is she's constantly connecting. Debbie, I hope you don't mind me calling you out here, but I just thought of it when I saw your face. Is, she's constantly connecting her brand story, where the product comes from, who creates the product, who makes the product, on her Instagram stories and on her social media posts. This allows you to really be able to connect with your customers on a human level, so that you're not just connecting through, here's another sale and here's another product I've got, or here's another service we've got. Core actually does a really great job. Core, Christine, you're on here as well, and her team, they're able to, they were, I think on Father's Day it was, I saw a great post where they just sent us, hey, if you haven't bought your Father's Day card, here's one you can print out. Like, what a great way to connect through the power of story, right? We all have a story with Father's Day or Mother's Day or Christmas or any other holiday. And so we're able to kind of connect that into the way we're communicating with our customers. You want to be able to also understand that when you're communicating through story, it's so much more than just the couple points that I just shared. It's more even about, what's the history of your brand? Tell us a little bit deeper about where you come from and how you got to be and why you chose the industry that you chose. Have your employees share with us why they chose to be with you or why they chose to be a part of your team. Share community events, or through the pandemic, you've maybe shifted and adjusted and aligned a little bit stronger with certain community aspects on how you can help from a charitable angle. These are all stories that help to bring your brand and help to make you more human in the digital interactions that we're doing with our customers. Okay, number 3. Oops. Your people are your most valuable asset. So again, as we transform into this new age that we're all in, depending on the size of your organization, if you've got hundreds in your organization, or if you're a small team like myself, your people are really your most valuable asset. And so, there we go. There we go. And so we've learned that, through the pandemic, frontline workers, those who are connecting directly with our customers, are really priceless, and they're the lifeline of our business. So now more than ever before, we need to even connect with them on a deeper level. It can't just be emails and text message communications. We have to be able to understand how we can make that. When we refer to customer, I'm talking about your internal customer, which is your staff and your team and your partners, as well as your external customer, or the people that are doing business with you. So the more we can start to be able to create an experience for our internal customers, the better they're going to serve our external customers. Well, how do we do that, Crystal? How do we create a better experience? You want to think about communicating with your internal customers the exact same way you would communicate with your external customers, by way of story, by way of engagement in terms of social media. There's so many different ways you can connect with your team, but what you really want to focus on is making sure that you're not just communicating by text message or email, or even Zoom. Zoom can also be challenging, right? You want to be able to take that time outside of the virtual world to call them on the phone. Perhaps now, if we can meet up a little bit, socially distant, of course, then let's meet up. But making sure that you're still keeping connected. And I want to share a little statistic with you, is that clarity builds confidence. And so there was a survey done in a recent book that I read. It's called The Employee Experience. If you don't have a copy, grab it. It's a really great read. And so they talked in the book about a survey that was conducted that said, when we want to create clarity and confidence and we communicate a message to people, how do they receive it? And so 71% of the executive and the leadership team thought, yes, we receive our communication clearly and confidently. We feel really good about the communication that we're getting. 68% of mid-level managers said, yes, we feel really good about the communication that we're getting. But only 49% of frontline workers, and this study was done relatively recently in this book, I want to say 2 years ago, 49% of frontline workers said, yes, they believe that they understand the message, they're being communicated. And so if you think about that, only 49%. So as we were in a global pandemic and our frontline workers were working all the time, a lot of us were working, even if we weren't emergency staff, we were still working on Zoom or on electronic modes of communication. Only 50% of the people closest to our customer were confident and clear in the expectations and what they had to do to be able to provide an outstanding customer experience. And so within your organization, I'd encourage you to understand, if your people are your most valuable asset in your organization, we need to make sure that they understand how they're supposed to create an experience for your customer that will be memorable. Everything from the tone of their voice to their body language on camera, to the way they're communicating their messages on social media. They need clarity and confidence. Especially if it's a frontline staff worker that is actually interacting face-to-face with a customer, they need to be able to have that experience. And I'll share a quick story with you about Sleep Country. Has anybody here recently purchased from Sleep Country? Hands up. Have you been tempted to purchase from Sleep Country because you've seen the commercials? Anybody? Yes? No? I see a couple hands up, right? So Sleep Country did a really phenomenal job at pivoting. They said, okay, our stores are closed and we need to sell mattresses. And so you all saw the commercials. I hope some of you saw the commercials. I know I did. The commercials on TV that said, hey, thank you so much for still continuing to shop with us. All of our team has gone online. We are now servicing you from our bedrooms and our homes. And we're connecting with you on a different level. So call us and let us tell you about the science behind the bed that you're going to be sleeping in. And so it became this really interesting connection because they shared the story of their team working from home, right? And their story of their team being able to sell over the phone and through communication. So what they did was they took that marketing message online, that commercial, they brought it to people going on the website, and a great web experience as well, a really good user experience. The website led them to the phone call, to pick up the phone and call us or connect with us online so we can set up a Zoom meeting. And then there was that human connection, right? And they've seen their sales skyrocket because of that human connection. And so that's what we want to be able to do when we're transforming the digital space to that human side. We need to really figure out and understand that, okay, they want to be able to go online. People want to be able to access information themselves, correct? Everybody wants to be able to, am I right there? Hands up if you want to be able to access information easily, right? You want to quickly answer and you think, okay, I can solve it. It should be readily available. But in the case that it's not, and if you have questions, you need to be able to easily access it. It's just like if you can picture yourself shopping in a mall or in a store. And when you walk into a store and somebody says, you know, can I help you with that? And you're like, no, I'm just looking, right? We've all done it. No, I'm just looking. And you kind of pump the brakes, and then you walk around the store and you're like, okay, I hope they're not following me because it's kind of weird. I know you are laughing. I know you feel the same way. And then accept that moment when you need their help, when you're like, man, where is this size? Or, you know, do you have this in a different color? You turn around and that person's not there, right? That's when you need them. That's when you want them to be there. And that's when so they need to be at a comfortable enough distance from you so that you can access them when you need them. And the same goes in this digital world, is that you want to do things yourself, but when you want their help, you want that chat to pop up, that chat box to pop up so you can ask a live person a question. You want that phone number available so that you can connect with them. Or you want to send them an email, but expect that you're going to get a response within a reasonable amount of time, that there's somebody answering that. We know that we've all been through these challenges, and I'm not one to go back and forth on the negatives of the digital experience, because we know there are those. But this is the idea, is that when your staff is your most valuable asset, you need to be able to really give them the tools and allow them to be able to communicate in a really in a way that's good for the customer. One more point I want to make on this, though, is that recently was with a client on the phone, and we dove a little bit deep into their process, and we were chatting about. She says, Crystal, I don't want to. I don't want to have people on hold, but people are on hold for like 15, 20 minutes right now because we only have so many call center people that can actually handle them. So, so they're on hold. And, you know, and then I talked to their employees and I said, okay, what would you prefer, guys? Would you prefer to have people on hold, or would you prefer to be able to call them back with an answer? The answer, and it was so interesting because the employer believed wholeheartedly that, you know, it should be from a call center perspective, it should be that, you know, you go from one call to the next call to the next call and so on, and it's productivity. But from an employee perspective, and it only took us a matter of an hour to figure this out, you know, when we actually ask the employees, right, how can this be a better experience for yourself? Because remember, happy employee makes happy customer. How can this be a better experience for yourself? They said, you know what, it would be great if they could send us their information. We could call them back with an answer, and we've already done the homework, right? So for them to be able to pick up the phone and call people back, they much preferred that phone interaction. And customers were happier because they weren't sitting on the phone for 20 minutes waiting, right? And wouldn't you be happier if you got a quick call back, right, within a quicker time? And it maybe wasn't even 20 minutes at that point because they had the answers relatively quickly. So just a point to kind of keep in mind there. Okay, next, what am I here next? So carefully craft and customize. Those of you who know me know the fact that I love custom experiences. A lot of you have heard a lot of my lucky stories. I've been really blessed to have some awesome experiences happen to me. Maybe it's because I'm in the industry, I don't know, but I've had a lot of customized experiences happen to me. And the more and more they happen to me, the more and more I understand the importance and the value that brings. So quick question for you. Who, just a show of hands, or if I don't have your video on, maybe just give me a reaction tool. Anybody ever shopped with Vistaprint? Who's shopped with Vistaprint before? Hands up if you shopped with Vistaprint online. Anybody? Perfect. We got a couple people. So go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm going to ask you this question. When you've shopped with Vistaprint, what happens right when you purchase? So for example, you might have purchased a banner sign, a happy birthday banner sign. What's the next step that happens in that customer experience? Go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to dive in. Anybody? Not all at once, just one person at a time.
I can go.
Yeah, please, go ahead. Thanks, Daisy.
They usually immediately upsell you at a discount.
At a discount. And what do they upsell you?
Sometimes it's what you already bought.
Perfect.
And sometimes it's with corresponding things that you might not have looked at all.
Great. Awesome. And anybody else want to add to that? Christine?
I was going to say the same thing. So
yeah, perfect. And so the idea though there, and I guess my next question is, did you buy any of those crafted things, Daisy? Do you typically?
I know that I don't typically, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
actually,
did.
you did, yeah. So Vistaprint reported, this was about 2-3 years ago, that they reported a 78% increase in their sales, increase in their average sale after that initial purchase, because they carefully crafted and customized things. So they took that logo that you might have put on that happy birthday banner, and they put it on a cup, and they put it on a t-shirt, and they put it on everything else, and showed you that, hey, these are options too. Hey, these are possibilities as well. Right? So just an example of how when you can carefully craft and customize something for somebody, it creates a human experience where you're not just another number, right? That's a digital way of doing it. You know, we can dive even deeper into, it's always funny when, so this past week was my birthday, and I got at least 20-30 emails from different companies saying, happy birthday. Here's 10% off. Here's $15 off. Come and shop with us. And I thought, I haven't heard from you all year long. I have no loyalty. I mean, I probably have loyalty. Swarovski gets me every time. But still, I haven't heard from you all the time, the whole year. And I appreciate you saying happy birthday. But it's not a gift. It's a discount to continue to do business. So it's all in how the customer perceives it. And I'm comparing them to Starbucks because I'm a Starbucks fanatic. Y'all know me. And Starbucks gives me a free drink, crafted any way I want, and a free lunch on my birthday, and a nice birthday message. And so you really want to be able to understand that, you know, customers' expectations are aligned with the brands that they're doing business with. We use a tool called customer journey mapping. We actually have a webinar coming up on the 9th with customer journey mapping. And it's a great tool that allows you to kind of identify those moments of truth in the customer's experience, and gives you moments of truth in areas that you can actually stop and say, hey, this is a point where we can craft and customize something. This is a spot like that we can really make sure that we're developing a deeper relationship. Perhaps it's on their birthday, perhaps it's on their work anniversary, perhaps it's on the birth of their new daughter or son or whatever, but it's crafted for that particular business and that particular person. Again, a lot of this depends on the type of customer that you're dealing with. I know I've got quite a few different industries on here. I'm just looking at everybody on the call. And so a lot of it depends on the type of customer, but I want to share another quick story with you on this one. My son, I have a 17-year-old son, and he recently purchased these little rubber bracelets. You know those little rubber kind of easy little bracelets that everybody's got these days? So he purchased these bracelets, and I was trying to remember what the name of it was. I think it was Keep Grinding Youth. KGY was the letters. And so he saw them on Instagram. He says, Mom, can I grab them? They're like $8. I said, yeah, sure, honey, grab them. Keep grinding. And so they're little bracelets. So he bought 2 for me and 2 for him. And they were literally black and white bracelets with 3 letters on them that said KGY. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And so he bought these bracelets, but they came with a note. And we literally spent $8 on these bracelets, and the note in the box said, hey, Zariq, thanks for doing business with it. Keep grinding, little man. You're great at football. And then at the bottom, it was the guy's signature and the Instagram tag. My son now has that hanging up on his room with a pin, right? So it's that little tiny crafted, customized experience. Now, this gentleman had a couple, I don't even know how many thousands of people on Instagram. I don't know how many people that he actually sent that letter to, but it made an impact on my son. And now I've already told that story about 3 or 4 times. So you can see the power of being able to craft something and create a memorable experience. And we have that opportunity now that we're mailing things more often, now that we're, 5 years ago, we were thinking snail mail was a thing of the past. Today, it's the best part of my day when I get an Amazon box almost every day at my front door, and it's exciting, right? And so the mail has taken on a whole new way of life for us. So I actually just sent a card to somebody the other day, and I said, can't wait to have a cup of tea with you. And I threw a little tea bag in the card. and she called me. She's like, oh my God, that's the cutest thing ever. Like, it's those little moments, those little opportunities we have to be able to create experiences for people that don't cost a lot of money, guys. And I always would encourage you, and I know I've said this before, but if money or time was no object, what would you do to carefully craft and customize an experience for people? So remove that block, that limiting belief that, hey, we need to have all the money in the world to be able to provide a Disney experience or an Amazon or an Apple experience. Listen, they just keep their customer top of mind. From the way you open that Apple headphone or that Apple box, they've literally thought about every element, as opposed to, I just had to open a printer ink the other day. Has anybody recently opened a printer ink box? It's like, come on, it's a hard challenge, right? Like, I'm taking scissors, I got a knife, I like almost cut my hand. They need a lesson from some people, right? To be able to craft that experience so that's a lot easier for customers. All right, how am I doing for time here? Not bad, not bad. Are you guys getting some good tips? Yes, thumbs up, give me a thumbs up. Perfect, awesome. Next, this is probably one of my favorites, and I know I've pushed Scott out of his comfort zone recently. Scott and I just started working together this month, and communicating with voice is my next tip. And, you know, when we're communicating with voice, we think, okay, we're communicating, like I'm communicating with you right now, and, you know, maybe on the phone. But I'd encourage you to start using things like voice memos. Or, you know, on LinkedIn, they've got a great feature where you can leave somebody a voice memo saying, hey, Daisy, thanks so much for connecting. I love the fact that we're going to get to know each other a little bit better. Listen, if you need anything when it comes to the world of customer experience, I'm your gal. What a cool message to get on LinkedIn, right? Or if you're using Instagram, what is it called? Messenger. You know, you might say, like, you might connect with somebody and get these new people that are joining your page or your group, and you would be able to communicate with voice. Voice allows you so much more than just, I mean, obviously video is kind of my number one and favorite, but in the absence of video, voice just kind of mixes it up a little bit. And people can hear a lot from the tone of your voice. They can engage with you so much different. Like, so for example, if I was to say, good morning, everyone, thanks for coming here today. I'm so excited to have you all. You've been with me for 30 minutes now. Does that sound natural to me? Right? Probably not. I'm going to say, good morning. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to have you all, because that's who I am. That's my fascination advantage. That's how I communicate. And so it's important to understand, be who you are. Don't be who I am. Don't be who anybody else is, but be confident and allow your voice to do a lot of that work for you. Allow your voice to be able to create a human experience when we're in a digital world. So using that little voice note methods or memos, that type of thing, it really does help. Okay, so my final thoughts as I break you guys into breakout rooms here is to truly drive emotional engagement and humanize experiences with your customers. We need to have a good balance of technologies. Remember, people expect technologies to work seamlessly. So if you have, if you're selling products online, if you're using Shopify, if you're using, YouTube, so on and so forth, they expect things to run seamlessly in a digital world. So we need to be able to create that seamless digital experience and entwine it with a highly personalized and customized human experience. So it takes work. It takes intention. And as I mentioned, journey mapping is probably one of my favorite tools, because you can understand and identify the moments of truth and the areas in which people are really, needing that. Let me just stop this for one sec. But that's what's going to really allow you to be able to understand the digital experience. If you're able to put that journey map together on where your customer is shopping and how they're feeling at any moment, once you're able to craft that really carefully, then you can start to understand, okay, how can I integrate a little bit more of a human experience? Hey, maybe this is where we send our customers a voice note. Maybe this is where we send them a video email. Maybe this is where we ask them for feedback in a voice note. Maybe this is where we include them as a customer in our Instagram story and say thank you to them, live and in person. So think of those kind of ways that you can create that experience. But the best tool is using that map to really identify. Now you can do a big journey map like we do, or you can just draw it on a piece of paper. The idea though is to understand the moments of truth that a customer has an emotional experience with you. I think that's a wrap. I think that's all. Did you guys get some good points? Good tips? Awesome. Awesome. Scott, you wanna dive in here?
Yeah, so I think some of my takeaways were the connecting through with your story. I think that's something I'm starting to learn a lot about, and bring I love Disney for anyone that doesn't know me, so bring that to part of my story. And then I think you called me out on it, connecting with the voice as well. Starting to leave voice notes on LinkedIn messages and Facebook messages when people are connecting with me, and even just something if it's their birthday, sending them a happy birthday voice note versus a message on a messenger, right?
Yeah. I would also pay attention to, so birthdays and Christmas is kind of the I guess normal, right? People always celebrate on, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays and birthdays. I would suggest to try to do things outside the norm. So, we did a thing last year where on St. Patrick's Day, we said, we're so lucky to have you as our customers. Or Valentine's Day, we love our customers, whatever the case. And I know a lot of you do that. I know a lot of the brands on here, but try as much to be able to get off of those typical holidays and get, a memorable experience, even a work anniversary or, something that's important to them. One of the things in the gift giving process, if you're looking to do kind of gift giving, whether it's with your customer, I know this is totally off topic, but it's just top of mind, is, we slap our brand on a lot of things. And I think, it's good. It's good we do. But does your customer want another golf shirt with your logo on it? Or do they want something that's important to them? I recently got gifted a beautiful water bottle. And that water bottle was like totally me. Because it was, and I've literally been using it every day. Christine, thank you. And so, but that was like, that's what you're calling, where you're actually touching on the emotions of somebody, as opposed to, slapping a logo on something and sending them a logoed t-shirt or a logoed, a gift. I'm not saying there's a time and a place for everything, right? There's a time and a place for marketing and branding. But when you're really trying to connect with somebody, you want to think of what's important to them and not necessarily what's important to the company, because you're trying to develop a relationship. So just a little point I wanted to add. All right, so let's break everybody out into breakout rooms. Does that work, Scott? Can we do that?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm going to pose a question to all of you, and I'm going to put the question in the chat. If you want to write the question down, great, but we'll also put it in the chat. Noah, you've got it there? Perfect. So we'll also put the question in the chat, but the question is, which one or more of these tips do you feel that you can incorporate into your organization? And also why? So really great way to kind of, let's have a chat. I'll give you guys about 7 minutes in your groups to have a chat. And I'd love for you to kind of share. I see so many different industries on here. I'd love for you to share your industry, just a high level scope of your industry, as I break you guys out into breakout rooms. But we'll give you 7 minutes to chat and get to know each other a little bit better. But I hope that, let's see here. I'm going to break you out into 2 breakout rooms. Let's do 3. All right, so there's roughly be about 4 people in each breakout room. So you'll get a little message on your monitor right now. So go ahead and click it when you get it. And we'll see you back here in about 7 minutes, guys. And we'll also put the question in the chat for you. See you in a minute.
Oh, you're
Hello.
You're on
hello.
mute.
Am I on mute?
Daisy's
Okay,
on mute. I can hear you, Crystal.
Hi. Isabel, you're in this group. Where are your face? I can't see your face, Isabel. Is she there? Is Isabel there? Oh,
She is.
I don't know if she's there. Awesome. Daisy, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Wonderful. And where are you from, Daisy? Which organization are you from?
So right now I own my own real estate brokerage.
Fantastic.
Me, my husband, and our partner, but we're sort of looking to branch in different directions, and we're looking to start our own software as a service company for back-end real estate work.
Fantastic, fantastic. And so were any of these points something that you really enjoyed or that would resonate with you?
Actually, I found the entirety of the presentation really good. I find like a lot of the things that you went through was something I was really trying to instill into our real estate brokerage,
Right.
whereas I didn't get a lot of agreement from partners on a lot of those points. So it feels good to hear everything that you have to say for customer experience and journey to sort of what I was trying to implement. But I can see maybe we weren't on the same kind of wavelength. So I definitely think I can put a lot of that into use going forward and starting our own.
Well, and sometimes it's a very difficult shift. It's a mindset shift, right? A lot of organizations are so deeply embedded in what they're doing and how they've been doing it for 20 years that's working. It takes like this wicked uncomfortable feeling to pull them out of that and say, hey guys, this is the new way of doing it. And my friend, I know how challenging that is. I work with so many organizations that is kind of the number one challenge, that challenge of change. But one tip I'll share with you is if you start to implement these things and you see some great results with them, the results is what matters to them. Yeah. So when you start to implement them even within your own organization or however, and if you want to create a shift and a change with the large organization, then, showing them the results in this. Hey, I communicated with 5 people via voice note on LinkedIn and I got 4 returns, right? Versus I connected with 5 people via regular and I got none, which is pretty realistic statistic.
Certainly.
Right? So just communicating, showing them the results really helps. Elizabeth, Isabel, are you there? I don't know if Isabel's there. I think she's got her. Hey, are you here? Let me just send her a quick voice note. Oh, voice note. I meant message. I said voice note. I meant message. I didn't know. Isabel, are you there? All right. I guess not. All right. So we got a couple more minutes. We got 3 more minutes. Daisy, is there anything we can help with?
I don't think there's anything specific that I have right now.
Okay.
I'm glad that I got to join today.
Great.
Just a lot of the information I think will get me off to a good start. I'm just looking into starting our market research for the new company. Okay. And I think it really aligns with my thoughts. So.
And have you used journey mapping as a tool? Have you ever thought of journey mapping?
So I think that I'm at least interested, if not registered, for the journey mapping webinar. Awesome. I might be.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm getting a message here. I have to hop out for a quick second to another room. Yeah. But Scott, maybe you can share a little bit about journey mapping with Daisy?
Yep, no problem.
Okay, I'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
Bye.
Bye.
With the things that we learned.
Christine, we lost you. I can't hear you.
We can see her though. It's quite funny.
Yeah. I don't know if she can hear us saying we lost her.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes. You were very animated in your.
I love it.
I hear I'm going to send over to Jen, and I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do?
Well, I'm going to take Crystal's summary report from the journey map that I have personally been through and that I've been thinking about how to build into our business plan. But I would love to have Jen take the lessons from today, look at that summary report, and sort of answer the question, is there something that I'm missing or something you can think of that would help us in that carefully crafting and customizing something for our clients? Because that's where I see the biggest area for us to improve.
Yeah, I agree, Christine. I really start that area off because I think, well, every company puts offers together for people and um, they think they're communicating in a way. Are you actually really crafting their experience in a way that's personalized to them? Or are you doing it in a way that benefits you? And I think a lot of people aren't doing it for their customer, they're doing it for their business. And I think there's a lot that can change in that. And that was a really big takeaway for me.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have that great video that I watched. What did you, a sizzle reel, I think you called it. I can't remember it exactly, but that is a great one to customize for your customer, right? I mean, it's easy enough to take the same content and incorporate a little bit of their personality, their brand, their people into the video, right?
Yep.
That's a really great, easy one to customize, but like, wow, the impact of something like that in terms of they'd be amazed that you've taken the time to customize it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've done things before, like at the end of a year of work with a client, we'll put together like almost like a beautiful little coffee table book. And we'll say like, wow, look at what we've accomplished together. And those are very well received.
Beautiful.
But we don't do it for everyone, and we don't do it every year.
Mm-hmm. It all depends on, you know, how deep you want to be able to get with the customer, and also the continued relationship, what type of continued relationship you're looking for. Kim, where are you from, Kim? I don't think we've met. Have we met before?
You look familiar, so maybe I shopped at your Danier. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I'm from Bureau Veritas Labs. I sort of got into the group through connection with Lawrence. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here. Was there a key? Did I miss it? Did you guys already discuss it? Was there a key that stood out to you?
Kim went first.
Okay.
I was, yeah. Awesome. I usually jump in and do the first thing, but I was just saying that trying to connect with my group of people, our company sort of is steered away from the feeling of every employee kind of matters in the employee experience side. So I was just saying about how I was going to use some of the tips and kind of work on just my team of 8 to 11 people to kind of bring them on and make them feel a little bit better. Yeah. Because I know everyone's feeling pretty isolated.
Have you done any virtual team building?
Not team building, but we have a meeting every day. I was saying to everybody that I hold a meeting every day since COVID started, and everyone was starting to call me and just talk about whatever because they were lonely. So I just started a daily call where we sort of do a round table on what's everyone up to and what do they need help with. Awesome. But I think I'm going to do something a little bit more personal. I kind of came up with the idea of maybe coming up with a gift bag of some sort that I can ship to each of them at their houses.
Yeah. You know, a nice thing, I'm just throwing these quick ideas out there, but have a meeting that's non-business related. Like whether it's a virtual team building or virtual whatever, but just have a meeting that talks about like nothing about business whatsoever, right? So that maybe it's a theme, maybe you've got a commonality amongst your people. Maybe everybody loves football or everybody loves basketball, but just totally non-business related. It just shows the effort that you want to make to connect on a deeper level.
And you know what? It's true. Christine did that for us, and everybody enjoyed the conversation, and we felt connected once again.
It makes such a difference. Chris, are you online there? Can you hear us? I'm gonna wrap these up, and I think I'm over my time.
I'm here.
Awesome, Kristen. Where are you from?
It's Chris Rowley. I am from Can Shop Local, and I'm here in Niagara Falls.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. And Chris, did you have a chance to share?
No, I've just been listening. I'm actually sitting here in my PJs and feeling a little uncomfortable.
Awesome. We love it. You don't know what I'm wearing underneath this either, but awesome. And Chris, was there a tip that you are excited to execute?
Well, you know what? Everything that you went through, Crystal, is very important. And because we just created our company during COVID, like we just launched, right? What we're doing is delivering food to people. And although I've been working on it for a number of years, as you know, I was with Mrs. Grocery for a while. Right. And I couldn't get any of this done within that organization. Right. So now I'm not looking to do this myself. I'm looking for an organization to do this for me. I'm quite aware of everything that I need here. I'd like to have a business that I could go to that would say, okay, Chris, here's everything you outlined for us, and here's our solution for that. Because personally, I have so much to do on the other end of the business organization and all the rest of it, that knocking any one of these things off seems at this point to be a huge obstacle.
Yeah, and you know what, I hear that often. I hear that very often from many business leaders that say, hey, Crystal, can you just do it for us? And I do flip the script a bit, Chris. I mean, I know you, now that I know which Chris you are, I know you well. And so, you know, it is, but what I would suggest always is the business owner has to be involved in it. So for example, I've now got a small team of people, and I do probably 50% of the work in terms of like connecting with customers, and you still have to be able to have that level of connection. So even if it's 10% of your time, it goes back to the whole lead by example. If you just hire a company to do it, and I know I've hired many companies to do my social media, to do marketing, to do website, without you being engaged in the process and actually physically showing your team how to do it, it gets a little bit trickier. But let's connect outside of here, Chris. I've got lots of great tips that I'd be happy to share with you, and perhaps we can do a consulting gig.
I completely agree with what you said too. Keeping your feet on the ground is most important.
For sure.
It's just when you have potential of thousands of people to talk to.
Yep.
I just don't. It overwhelms me to begin thinking, and I've actually held off my marketing.
It's an overwhelming task, for sure.
It's overwhelming, yeah. I'm getting a 20-to-1 marketing return, and I know that if I turn it on, I'm just going to be overwhelmed.
That's a good place to be in terms of sales. But, so for sure, we can connect outside of here. I got a couple. Journey mapping would be a phenomenal tool for you to really map out that digital user experience. Because then you can kind of see before they're even your customer, how can we get ahead of that expectation.
I like that.
So we can chat, Chris, about that.
Okay.
Sure. All right, guys,
Crystal. 15
seconds. We're breaking out. We'll see you guys in the breakout room, and we'll talk soon. Hello, everybody. Everybody back?
Yep.
Everybody back? Awesome. So was some good conversations. Let's give some highlights. We've got a couple minutes. I'll give everybody a minute. Andrew, you want to share some highlights from your group?
Sure. I think we all kind of agreed to take on communicating with voice, that we tend, the world revolves around email these days, and that quick response, that we've lost that personal, it's easy to lose that personal connection. And so I think we all picked that one first.
Oh, that's awesome. And that was the last one I put on my list.
Well, I mean, it's that low-hanging fruit, right? That you can just start a movement of, with every transaction or interaction, you can leave that personal message for, a service team could adopt that relatively easy.
Perfect. And it doesn't matter the size of your business. I know you're with a large organization, and like, it really doesn't matter how big or how small your business is. Just connecting with individuals with that voice makes a huge difference. I sent a video message the other day to somebody, like a text message, but it was like a 10-second video just saying thank you for something. And she just freaked out. Like, she just freaked out about it, because it was like, oh my God, like, how did you do that? And I'm like, listen, this is how I was feeling. You weren't going to get that feeling from me if I just sent it in a text, right? You needed to hear my voice. And so, and see me and see my like excitement. So those little things make such a difference and such an impact in how people receive the message.
I remember the first time I got a voice message text from someone during COVID, and I was like, what the heck is this? And then I felt so special, and so like that someone took the time to do that for me. And I really am trying myself to do like one a day.
Yeah.
To different people, just to make them feel special and connect differently than just flipping them a text message.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And try to use their name. Oh, sorry, Christine. Are you still talking? I think you are. You're muted though. Hold on.
No, I'm done.
I see you moving, but we can't hear you. Are you still?
I'm done.
Are you done? Okay, sorry. Sorry. Yep. I would also suggest to try to use people's name when you're doing it, especially through LinkedIn. You know, say something like, "Hey Debbie, thanks so much for connecting on LinkedIn. I'm super excited to learn more about your business and how I can help." But like just the fact that you're using their name is like, whoa, this was really for me. This wasn't a recorded thing that they sent to everybody. This was really about me. And so keep that in mind. Awesome. So I think we're going to wrap things up. I want to be respectful of your time. We've got 4 minutes left. Scott, you want to take it away? I got the the slideshow up here.
For sure. So I don't think there's any Q&As in the chat, so I think we're good for that. So obviously, thank you everyone for coming today. There's gonna be a link in the chat to a survey, so you guys can fill it out. And then in that email, and there'll be an email coming afterwards, inviting you guys to our CX Solutions Facebook group. So please attend that. There's a bunch of other webinars coming up as well too. Team building, train the diversity and inclusion. We've got some boot camps coming up as well. Any Canadian attendees, there is a government grant that will help you guys with the funding. And thanks for coming.
And yeah, I'm just going to add one more quick point. So the recording for this webinar will be accessible on our CX Solutions Facebook group. It's a new group we just started to try to create some great conversations with CX professionals, people that are uber passionate about design thinking and all things customer experience. So please, if you're already a member, we'd love to hear from you in there. And if you're not a member, go ahead and join, but that's where you'll have access to the recording. And so all of our webinar series, this is our 4th webinar now that we've done, 4th or 5th, I think it's the 4th one. And so all of them, we're going to keep it all in there for passionate CX people that love all things CX. Any questions before we wrap things up? Noah, was there any questions in there? No, I think we're good. All right, guys, we'll have a fantastic, fantastic Thursday and stay connected. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye. Stay on, Noah. Hold on. Isabel is, I don't think Isabel's there because she hasn't responded to anything. Let's stop this.